We look around today and the biggest headline we see is AI is going to take away all entry-level jobs. And in the next 5-10 minutes, my objective is to try and tell you how to be relevant, how to be human in the age of artificial intelligence. So we've all seen the headlines that are sort of in the newspapers every day, right? TCS doing layoffs of 20,000 people. You're seeing the dramatic productivity steps that AI has brought into the fold. You're seeing how you're using AI in your daily lives, right? From Uber, Ola, giving an algorithm to track and allot cabs. You've seen it in how airlines are allocating seats and so on. So much so that, I used AI actually to write this speech because it's just dramatically more efficient. But I feel the most important thing to know today is to try and think of what are the things that will not change in the age of AI. Right? And hopefully in the next 5 minutes I'll tell you what are, all the things that will change with technology. What are the 2-3 things that won't change, that will serve you well in your careers going forward? So I think of 3 things that continue to be relevant as technology becomes more and more important in our daily lives. I think value continues to be rooted in human interaction, right? And what I'm now going to cover is 3 things: sales, HR, and trust and authenticity. You heard from our previous speaker, young entrepreneur, how she built a startup from scratch, and nowhere in that did you hear anything about artificial intelligence. Right? It was her own effort and her own grit that made her get here. So let's cover each of these in some detail, right? Sales. The reality is, people buy from people they like. We all go through various decision-making processes in thinking of where can I buy a particular product that we like. Now we all are very aware and we obviously know all the features there are to know about an Apple iPhone. So why do Apple stores continue to have so many people to help you? It's because people like to buy from people they like. Same way you go to a Sephora or a Nykaa store, right? For all the young women here, you will see that there's a bunch of salespeople ready to help you, ready to help find for you the lipstick shade that will match with your skin tone and so on. The reason is people want to have a personal interaction as we go. So even when you were building out this college fest, it was not an automated email or something like that, but you would probably have had to reach out to sponsors and speakers and various other faculty members and so on, and you would have had to go to that personally. So when you think of bringing all of that together, what I feel is, if you figure out a way to be likable and to be able to sell something, that's a skill that AI will never be able to learn, and that will help you stay one step ahead of the game. I think the second thing is looking for talent and HR and motivation. People get motivated not just by money, but by many other things. Again, we heard Isha's story where she talked about, going for placements, as I'm sure many of you are thinking of what do you want to do. And one of the things that a lot of people focus on is obviously what's your take-home pay and so on. But people also spend a lot of time thinking of culture, learning, fulfillment, purpose and so on. And one of the things that we've seen a lot play out is folks choosing to do their startup rather than take a job. For many people, actually, the best risk-adjusted way is to take a high-paying job in a large company and just keep on clipping a coupon. But if you think about it, the reason many people decide to go down the startup route is because they are searching for fulfillment. If you can think of a way to motivate your team, to think about life ahead of just the monthly take-home number, you will find that people sort of stick together, come together behind a joint purpose. You know, a very interesting recent example is, we have so many problems going on in this country. But if you see the recent Supreme Court judgment around stray dogs, the amount of reaction we've had is highly, highly active, right? And how has that played out? It's because people have taken it very personally and have, we are seeing it, I see it in my society groups as well, where people are saying sign petitions and so on so that we can protect these community dogs. The reason that is happening is because people think there's a personal, human-like connection that we have with dogs. So the way you move people is by personal interaction, by motivation and so on. Again, that's a skill that AI is yet to master. So if you can think of motivating your colleagues, your teams, your classmates, you are again step ahead in the AI game. I think the third pillar that I would like to talk about is authenticity and trust. We've all worked in different teams, and you all sort of know within those teams if there is something specific or valuable that I want done. I know this X person I can count on. We all know that deep in our heads, right? How does that happen? That happens over days and months and years of being consistently delivering, staying true to your word, and being there for others. If you think about it, what is the difference today between HDFC Bank and Suryodaya Bank? There's practically no difference in what is the service they are offering, either as a depositor or as a loan giver. The only difference is that most depositors feel that money is safe in HDFC because they've just been around for 30 years. They somehow don't feel that same way about Yes Bank or Sarvodaya Bank and so on. Now, if you think about that at a human level, we all know there is that one person in the family, one person in our team, who we feel we can keep our valuables with him, or we can trust him with a secret, or we can trust him to get stuff done. If you build a reputation over time of being that somebody who can get stuff done, you will find that you will attract a lot more business, a lot more respect, a lot more responsibility, even more than somebody else. Because at the end of the day, humans are social animals and they crave for somebody they can trust. Again, that's one characteristic that AI has still yet to master. So if I bring all of that together, the art of selling, the art of HR and motivation, and the art of trust and authenticity, that's the way to stay human in the age of AI. In closing, I would like to say, the winners of tomorrow aren't going to be the people who can type the fastest, but they'll be the ones who will think the clearest and have the most trusted people. Thank you.